Good morning. For the last couple mornings, I've had a good time sharing with you memories that were inspirational and memories that made me laugh as I thought back over some of the travels in the past. But life isn't always just laughter and fun and just good memories. Sometimes they're very heartfelt and they can be hard. It was on January the 25th, 1995. It was about 4:30 in the morning and Marcia and I were asleep when the phone rang, and it was Julie DeBerry calling to tell me that my closest friend Scott had been killed in a small plane crash. He was only in his 30s, father of several children, a wonderful man, and the grief was like something I'd never experienced before. To come about so quickly, it was just so painful. I was a part of the funeral down in Houston. I was with the family. It was really one of those hard times. And I discovered grief in a whole different way. I found myself in such sadness all the time. It's like the colors of the world had gone gray. I could find myself weeks later sitting at a stoplight, and suddenly I would break out crying uncontrollably and not even really know why. I learned a lot about grief during that period. I finally was starting to feel better by April. I was beginning to think, okay, I can heal. I remember one day when in April I was sitting at a stoplight and I looked around and the trees were green and the sky was blue, and for the first time in weeks and weeks, I felt alive again. I saw the beauty of the world. And then I was sitting at my desk one morning, April the 19th, when the whole building shook there at St. Luke's, and I went outside to find that the Murrah building had been bombed. And suddenly we were thrust back into incredible grief. I found that all the feelings I had been working through just came rushing back as it was heaped upon all the grief of the tragedy that Oklahoma City was involved in. St. Luke's was so very involved. As a Red Cross shelter, people were living there in our church. We were fixing thousands of meals per day, carrying them down to the rescue workers. We were dealing with press. It was an amazing time in our city and the life of our church that demanded so much of us all. And St. Luke's was incredible the way it rose to the occasion to show love and grace and care to all who were there. Living through that, after living through Scott's death, was a really challenging time in my life. It was in May, weeks later. I remember Marcia and I were out for a walk in our neighborhood. As we were walking along in our neighborhood, I said, I've learned so much, and I almost feel like I'm going to make it okay because of God's grace. And I think I could really stand up to just about anything other than the death of a child, one of our children, or your death. We finished walking and got home. As we walked in the door, the phone was ringing, and Marcia picked up the phone, and there was a lady on the other line that said, "Hello, this is the hospital emergency room. Your daughter has been in a car wreck, and she has been brought in by ambulance to the hospital." There's this long pause. It makes your heart stop. And finally she said, "She's going to be okay, but we just wanted you to know so you could come." We hopped in the car and we drove to the hospital, then got to the hospital to see Kelly, and she was fine. She was badly shaken up. It was a miracle that nobody in this car wreck was killed. So many kids were involved, hit by a drunk driver. We got through that third thing. And I have to tell you, it really was one of those times that was defining in life, in which I really did learn the depth of grief and pain and realizing I'm not in control to protect everybody that I love. And what I came to realize was God's grace is going to be enough. In spite of it all, I discovered you really do heal. If you rely on God's grace and the love of family and friends, you do heal. You never forget all the pain and the death and the people that you love. You don't forget, but you do heal to where you can laugh again and love again, and you see the beauty of the world again. I found a strength from beyond myself, and it was a real learning time. You know, this Sunday is going to be April the 19th, 25th anniversary. 25 years ago, all that was happening. We have a very special worship service designed, and I certainly hope that you will join us online this Sunday as we come together as a family of faith to remember what happened and to remember God's grace and how He has been at work in our world and our lives to help us to heal and to go forward. It's going to be a Sunday when we remember and we give God thanks. I look forward to seeing you. Have a great day.